I know my next guest is here and around the corner. We have had him in here before. Historian, author, former North Providence Town Councilman Paul Caranci is around the corner, I believe.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks for coming in today.
Hey, how are you?
I appreciate it. You've been here before. You
I
know
have.
the drill. You've got a lot of notes with you.
Not notes, just the copy of the book.
That's the copy of the book. So that's why I wanted you in. There's actually two big news items I want to talk with you about, but let's start with the new book.
Okay, yeah, it's been a terrific July, that's for sure. The new book is called The Promise of Fatima, and it's about the apparitions of Our Lady of Fatima in Portugal that occurred 100 years ago this year. It started in May, on May 13th of 1917, and the final apparition took place on October 13th, 1917. So the 100th anniversary of the big
Back to
miracle
you.
is coming up. And it's a fascinating story. The three little shepherd children in Portugal were 10 years old, 9 years old, and 7 years old, a girl and her two cousins. And they were out tending sheep one day when they saw a bright light, and a lady appeared on top of a holm oak tree, a very small tree. And the lady had a message for them. And the message was they needed to pray in order to bring an end to the war. World War I had just gotten underway. And they needed to do some other things as well, which she revealed over the course of several months.
So when did you decide that you wanted to write about this? You know, you've written about the nitty-gritty with politics that you've been involved with, but is this kind of a labor of love? Is this a real passion project for you?
It was, and it started out as a history project. I wanted to write a different perspective of a religious story. I wanted to write the history of it. So I started out with the events that led to the start of World War I, the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand and his wife Sophie, who were Catholics in Austria. And one thing led to another, and this history project became a real transformative experience for me, and as I found out, for the people who read the book, who helped me proofread it and correct some of the errors. So I thought...
There were no errors.
Just some minor typos here. But I thought this is something that people might appreciate, especially this year with the 100th anniversary right around the corner.
How long have you been working on this? How much legwork did it take to do all of this research, Paul?
This was a full-time effort, started on March 13th, and that was the day that I lost my full-time job. So I decided to devote all of my energies to writing. And I've done that pretty much from the 13th of March right up until about 2 weeks ago when I finished the first draft and then submitted it to the publisher.
Now, you are quite the prolific author by now. What number book is this for you?
This will be number 8.
Number 8. Oh, goodness. And it's coming out.
It is.
Okay.
Mid-September it will be available. And I haven't even gotten the proof yet. This is actually an early draft of it, but the proof will be out hopefully in about another 2.5 weeks. I'll have some time to read over the proof and approve it or change it, and then submit it for final production. The book will be out by about September 15th.
Okay, mark your calendars. And I'd like to ask authors when they come in, and especially ones that have done historical research, any surprises? I'm sure there were plenty of surprises when you were going through this. Any that you can talk about as you're going through your research with these stories that really stand out?
With this book, or with any book?
No, this one in particular.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that really stood out here was that there was an actual controversy that has arisen, I guess, of late, with what the interpretation of the third secret of Fatima is.
Okay.
And the Catholic Church has an official position, but there's also a dissenting position that has been taken up by part of the Catholic Church, I guess. That controversy still goes on today.
Are you giving a teaser? I was going to say,
yeah, I don't
you're
give it away.
enticing people to read the book here. As a reporter, I'm like, tell me what the controversy is, but we're going to have to get it out of you. Well, other things that you can talk about, we've had a little back and forth here. Let's go from books to movies.
Okay.
You've got something in the works with something that you've written. So talk, let's bring folks up to speed.
All right, that's a very exciting project, actually. It involves the second book that I wrote, The Hanging and Redemption of John Gordon. It's a true story of Rhode Island's last execution. And it involves a man who came here, immigrated from Ireland to escape the famine and other hardships that were going on in the mid-1800s over in Ireland, and which at the time was just a colony of England. It wasn't a country of its own yet.
Mm-hmm.
And he came here and on short order was accused, along with most of his family, of the brutal murder of Amasa Sprague, who was a Yankee mill owner in Cranston, Rhode Island, the Sprague Mansion, and also from a very powerful and wealthy political family. The Spragues, at the time, the brother was the U.S. Senator, former governor. This Sprague was a councilman, former councilman, and they held immense power. And as part of an attempt to discredit the Irish immigrants of the time, accused the Gordon family of murdering the brother of Amasa Sprague. It was a sham trial. It was a corrupt trial. Witnesses perjured themselves, and in the end, two of the brothers were found not guilty. One of the brothers was found guilty and hanged right over at the Providence Place Mall where Nordstrom's is. That was the prison at the time. And down in the courtyard there, he was hanged. He was only 29 years old. That was in 1845. And just 7 years later, because of the complete chaos that resulted as a result of the sham trial and all, the legislature saw fit to abolish the death penalty, making Rhode Island the first state in the country to abolish the death penalty for all crimes. And I was fortunate at the time that I released the book. I was contacted by a movie studio.
Just out of the blue.
Well, they guess they were familiar with the story. They saw the book, and they decided this would make a great movie.
Did you ever think of that when you were writing it, that it could be a good movie?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, I did.
Every writer hopes that
Yes.
one of his books will turn into a movie, and I really had little hope it would happen, but I hope that it might. And because it's just such a great story. It has all the elements that you see in a great movie. It has a murder. It has a corrupt trial. It has an execution. It has even a haunting after. The Sprague Mansion is rumored to be the most haunted mansion in America. And it's haunted by so many spirits they can't even keep count at this point.
Oh my goodness.
So, it just has all the elements of a great movie, and I think it would make a great movie. But at the time, I didn't have a lot of time to explore, making a movie. I was working full-time. I was involved in writing my next book, the third book. So I just kind of put the contract aside, let it sit. And then I was contacted again just about a month ago.
Well, I saw that you posted the news. So where are things? You were contacted again, so where in the process are you?
Well, we signed the contract, and the book was written by the History Press, so they also own the rights to any movies that are produced. So History Press and I split whatever money is made, 50-50. But they signed the contract, I signed the contract. Red Varden Studios is the studio in California. Zig Gauthier is the producer's name, and he signed the contract, and now we're just waiting to see if a large movie house will pick it up.
So that was my question in terms of making movies. That's the next step, looking to see if it gets picked up.
Right, because someone has to finance it.
So you've just made that pitch about this book, about the politics and the intrigue and the history and the sort of lasting legacy. You mentioned the Providence Place Mall. There have been a lot of folks that have said even that place is haunted as well.
There have been, yeah. I've never seen anything strange go on there, but yeah, there's been rumors of hauntings there.
There have been rumors of hauntings at the mall. So you've got the new book coming out. You've got the movie under contract. You are busy. What is next?
I'm going to take a little time off from writing, I think, and just promote the books that I have right now. Obviously, you write books, but if nobody knows they're written, you don't make any money selling them. So
you got to go out on the circuit.
That's right. And,
will that happen once this comes out in September? Will you be going around
yes.
bookstores?
Yes,
signings.
bookstores, and hopefully a lot of Catholic churches.
Well, I would have to imagine there would be probably immense interest from the Catholic
I
community
would
in
hope
it.
so. Yeah.
And as you said, you teased us with the book that's coming out. Why don't you show folks again that cover? That is going to be the cover of the book?
That is the final cover design, that's correct.
Okay, fantastic. The Promise of Fatima. Latest book from Paul Caranci coming out in September.
You'll love it.
Hasn't even gotten a full copy. I might grab that from you.
What you can have, though, is the copy,
The copy
of the John
of
Gordon book.
The Hanging of John Gordon. Paul, I appreciate it. Now, one thing I do want to ask you while you're here, we run chapters of your book Wired on Go
Yes.
Local. Talk to us about that. Have you gotten great reaction? Have people read the chapters on Go Local who might not have read it before?
You know, I've gotten a terrific response, and I'm so appreciative to you and Josh for doing that for me. I get so many calls and emails after that's out every Monday from people who just can't believe what they read in that last chapter that was published.
And you said truth is stranger than fiction.
Oh, it is indeed, and that book has a lot of truth in it. That's pretty strange.
Well, hopefully we'll have the opportunity to share more of your works moving forward, have you back in here to talk about new stuff going on. But again, the newest book coming out in September, The Promise of Fatima, and the movie rights to The Hanging and Redemption of John Gordon. Quick question about this one.
Yes.
Interest from folks in Ireland about it. I've heard that the Irish are very interested in it, considering it was one of theirs who came
Yeah.
over and this is what happened to him.
Yeah, Peter Martin, who is the state representative that introduced the bill of pardon for John Gordon, and he was pardoned in 2011, 166 years after the murder. He gave a copy to Enda Kenny, the Prime Minister of Ireland, and I don't know if he heard back from him, if the Prime Minister ever read the book or not, but he certainly has a copy.
Well, I'd heard those stories, so I had to get it right from the horse's mouth while you're in here. But Paul Caranci, appreciate you coming in as always. Look forward to reading this and maybe end of the summer beach reading if I ever make it to the beach. I'm always here. But wish you well, and we'll talk a little bit more about that book when it comes out.
Okay, thanks so much, Kate.
Paul Caranci, let you go around the corner.
I know.
Historian and author Paul Caranci coming out with The Promise of Fatima. It's going to be out in September, talking a little bit about that. Also did announce just recently got movie rights to his book, The Hanging and Redemption of John Gordon. Looking to see if a major studio picks it up. Clearly here making the pitch for that as well. We've had Paul in before. We've run chapters from his book of Wired, based on a true story. Check it out on Go Local if you haven't.